What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today it's time for another tier list. The king is back, and today I'm going to be talking about the best bases in MMA. So this is the best foundation to build your skills on. You know, we're talking about like boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, autism, all types of things like this. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to be talking definitively about the best base in MMA. That's going to go in the S tier. The rest, we'll see what we got. Let's start off straight away with one of my personal favorite. I think it's a newfound kind of strategy in terms of building up an MMA fighter. We're going to put inbreeding or being inbred in the B tier. I think, you get the benefits of probably really good grip strength. You know, gingers as well. They're very dangerous. Every ginger I know has crazy power. You get that aggressiveness. You get that natural kind of anger. You get that intimidating look as well, unrelated to this image on the screen. This is not a screenshot from the new X-Men movie. That is Shara Bullet. Okay, dude. Fucking hell, that was brutal, dude. Sorry, Shara Bullet. Seems like a nice guy, I guess. But, dude, I just feel like inbreeding, it's a solid B tier one. You get decent wrestling skills. You're very explosive. You got good natural power. And, you just got that crazy work ethic where you don't really know anything else but fighting. Because what else is there to do? So let's move on to another type of base in MMA. I'm going to put jiu-jitsu in the D tier, dude. Jiu-jitsu is going D tier. If you're doing just straight up jiu-jitsu, first of all, jiu-jitsu is a fake sport, okay? Completely CGI, not real whatsoever. But, if you're doing just pure jiu-jitsu, you're not wrestling, you're not doing MMA, you're not doing some of these other kind of backgrounds to build yourself up as an MMA fighter, you're kind of just wasting your time, dude, because jiu-jitsu, it's a lot like religion. If you don't believe in it, it has no effect on your life. So I'm going to put jiu-jitsu in the D tier. It's a pretty pipsqueaky sport at this point. I think it's attracted a lot of like nerds in the world as well, me included at one point. But in all seriousness, jiu-jitsu right now is very ineffective in the UFC. It's a good foundation to add on to your base, but it can't be your only thing. So let's move on to something else that I'm going to put quite highly. I'm going to put autism in the A tier. I think being autistic makes you extremely good at combat sports. Every like good fighter I know, like every person I know that's like good or has good prospects, very autistic, very, very interested in planes, foreign policy, looking at the flag, tanks, World War II, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I like, conspiracy theories, all types of topics, really, grilled cheese, all types of topics, completely focused, hyper-focused on being good at MMA. You teach them a jiu-jitsu move, you're never going to hear the fucking end of it. And that applies to every aspect of the game. Leon Edwards is a perfect example of weaponized pure autism. Islam Makhshev's another one. He's kind of a mix of the inbreeding and the autism put together. Power we have yet to see matched in the UFC. So I'm going to put autism in the A tier. Let's move on to another classic base in MMA. I mean, like I said, we've got boxing, we've got jiu-jitsu, we've got wrestling. I'm going to put steroids into the B tier. I think if you're starting off roided up, you're going to go pretty far in the sport. Once you get to the UFC, you realize everybody else is on steroids, so it's not that big of a deal. Or you go to your local jiu-jitsu match, everybody's on steroids. So, it's not the end all be all. It's not going to take you as far as autism, but it's definitely a good solid foundation to have, to just be a roided up, freak of nature, natty, quote unquote. I think steroids is a very good base for MMA. It's a very solid foundation to put some skills on top of. Skills optional. If you just do enough roids where you're just too powerful, you could probably end up as a UFC champion, especially in like a higher weight class. I feel like if you do enough roids, you could be middleweight champion, at middleweight champion or light heavyweight champion. All right, let's move on to another important base that I think goes kind of under the radar. A lot of people have talked about these other ones I've mentioned, but this is one that I was kind of thinking. I was like tossing and turning, thinking, what's a good base for MMA? What's a good thing to add to this video? I'm going to put being from a third world country in the C tier. I think being from a third world country, like a war-torn country, or being from like the UK, like Tom Aspinall, you're coming from a very disadvantaged, a very scary place in the world, and I think that just hardens you up, makes you very good. Not pause, by the way, on hardens you up. But yeah, it just makes you tough. It just builds you to fight in MMA, prepares you to do hardcore training, to fight and deal with conflict and all that type of stuff, because you're dealing with it every day. So I think being from a third world country like England or some other terrible place like that is definitely a solid foundation, but you need more of a tragic backstory, I feel like, to take it further into the B tier or the A tier. If you're in the B or the A tier, you've been through some shit, or you're just completely beyond being normal. You know what I'm saying? I feel like once you leave normality, that's how that you get better at MMA. So I'm gonna put being from a third world country in the C tier, dude. All right, let's move on to another great base for MMA. One of the ones that I think I'm most jealous of. Like some of these, I'm like, I'll take it or leave it. I'm pretty sure I have this one, but this one I wish was me. I'm gonna put child labor, dude, or being forced to do MMA from a child. I think that is one of the best bases in MMA. I know for sure when I have a kid, I'm gonna be doing Project Khabib. I'm gonna be turning that motherfucker into the best wrestler of all time from the jump. I think child labor, like being forced to do MMA, being forced to learn MMA, teach MMA from a young age, I feel like that is one of the best bases to becoming a great UFC fighter, great MMA fighter. I mean, what can you literally can't do shit about it. Like, it's completely OP. And by the time you've gained consciousness, it's too fucking late, dude. It's too late. You probably already have a tattoo. You probably already have some early onset CTE. Like, it's too fucking late. And you're probably at minimum a purple belt already by the time you gain consciousness. You're already knocking people out in competitions. Like, it's just OP as fuck, dude. Like, it is simply just unstoppable. It is unguardable. And it creates champions. You see so many fighters that are just, I've been fighting my whole life. You know what I mean? You got tuned up, bro. You got put in the gang, bro. You didn't even know. I was about to say you're a victim, but you're not really a victim. But I mean, I guess, like, if you didn't want to, dude, you got fucking set up, bro. You got sent to the UFC. You're literally Project Mbappe, bro. That's you, dude. So definitely an A tier base for MMA. Let's move on to another one. There's two kind of similar ones, but I'm going to do this very specific cultural one. I'm going to put the favelas. If you're from the favelas, if you're a Brazilian child, you're a B tier. You could be a UFC champion if you get in the gym, dude. I feel like being from the favelas just makes you instantly better at Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu completely off the rip. The second you're born, the second you breathe in air from the favelas, you're already better at MMA. So I feel like that's a very high level base of MMA to have, to be from the favelas. I mean, it's almost on par with being from Dagestan or, being from, again, a third world country or some shit like that as well. It's like being from Thailand. You're already probably better at fucking Muay Thai than me if you just got born in Thailand, dude. So I'm going to put the favelas in the B tier as a base for MMA. Let's move on to a very, very high level one, a very important one. And I'm just going to get it off the rip. This is a very serious topic, all right? I want to take this very seriously, dude. So I brought in an expert to actually speak to you guys. It's my first ever collab on the channel. Here's the fucking thing, right, dude? Listen, dude, having a bad relationship with your fucking dad, it makes you a fucking man, dude. I'm not talking about getting knocked the fuck out, but I'm just talking getting, like, hit in the face every once in a while, dude. Dude, having a fucking fucked up, like, family life, like Sean Strickland or some shit, that is guaranteed. I feel like most MMA fighters have this as their backstory, dude. So this has to be A tier. Like, it has to be A tier to have a fucked up family life, all this type of shit. Like, how many UFC fighters do you know that have this backstory? A lot of them, dude. So I have to put this in A tier. I mean, it's literally created so many champions. It needs to be studied in a fucking, like, lab, dude. This needs to be studied by doctors and scientists, bro, because this is truly one of the best bases for MMA. Having a terrible father or having a terrible family life, you know what I mean? That's A tier. All right, let's move on to, I would say, like a reskin of the favelas, if that's the right way to say it, like it's Fortnite or some shit. Trust. It's like an alternate version of the favelas. I feel like being from the streets or being hood as fuck is a decent base for MMA. It's not gonna be like B tier because you do get a lot of UFC fighters that are from the streets that have had that rough upbringing. They got that hood fighting style, like Bobby Green on his little screen that went around on Instagram. But it'll only take you so far. I feel like you've got good knockout power. You're tough. You're pretty funny most of the time. You're gonna have good interviews, but your wrestling is zero, brother. Your grappling is zero, brother. Hey, we have to check this, brother. So I feel like you can't go much higher than C tier with the hood as your fucking base for MMA, but it's still pretty solid. Like, it's still going to take you top 15, top 10 in the UFC in the right division, So I'm going to put that in C tier. That's pretty solid. Let's move on. I've got two more. I've got one of the worst bases for MMA, and then I've got the best, the definitive S tier base for MMA. All right. Let's go down in the D tier. I'm gonna say playing real sports, dude. If you're coming from any sort of actual sport like soccer, not rugby because that's a manly sport. You know, Cyril Gahn never played that shit. Basketball, you know, lacrosse, tennis, whatever gay shit you're playing. If you're coming from a real sport, you're probably soft as fuck. You're probably used to being handed things. You're probably used to being able to blame your coach, blame your team. And you notice how these guys that are like just naturally gifted, like been playing sports their whole lives, when they lose a fight or when they're in a tricky predicament as a fighter, they're always dropping the most delusional fucking game ever. They're dropping the most stupid shit ever in their interviews. Cyril Gahn is a prime example of this. This dude's never fucking been picked last in dodgeball in his life, and it fucking shows, bro. This guy wins one fight against Sergey Spivak and's like trying to get a title shot. That's not how it works, buddy. You're on the fucking bench of the heavyweight rankings, bro. Get used to it, dude. So I'm going to say playing real sports, being an actual athlete, you got to learn. MMA is not about who's actually better, dude. It's just about who shows up less fucking retarded on the day. Like you could just show up and be not like just have a slightly better fucking game plan and beat the number one pound for pound best fighter in the world. You can literally, anybody could be anybody in MMA. This sport makes no sense. You don't actually have to be athletic or talented to win in this sport. So if you're actually athletic and you're actually talented, this may not be the sport for you, dude. I feel like this is an everyman sport where you don't actually have to be good to win. So D tier at Cyril Gahn, real sports, terrible base for MMA. Let's move on to the last one. All right, the greatest current base for MMA right now is having the name Alex. Okay, dude. We got Alex Pereira. We got Alex Volkanovski. I feel like I'm missing somebody else, dude. Does Alexa Grasso count? Because there's another one, you know? I feel like just being named Alex, you know, it instantly just makes you the fucking, you know, de facto next champion in your division if you're not already the champ. All right, dude. So I reached out to Alex Pereira for his thoughts on this, and he was very excited. He was very happy that I put him in the S tier. He just said, "Show him design, hey." Design, so this is my tier list, guys. You know, let me know what you think. What's S tier? What's D tier to you? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Did I put any in the wrong spot? Let me know what you guys think of these bases down below, and let me know what your favorite base of MMA is, or what yours is. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. It might be like a bold predictions or it might be a card builder, but I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.